Hello, and welcome back to 4K Rare Coins, the place where numismatics come to life, and where you can discover the untold stories and hidden treasures waiting in your coin collection. If you're a passionate coin collector, or perhaps just getting started, you're in the right place. Today, we've got something special for you, or a coin that's often overlooked, but could hold surprising value, the 1970 Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a 1970 quarter? It's not exactly a rare coin, is it? Well, that's where things get interesting, my friends. We're going to dive deep into what makes this coin tick, and how it could actually be worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars, depending on certain factors. So, stick with me, and let's explore how this humble quarter might just be hiding something incredible. Cut to a close-up of a 1970 Washington quarter resting on a table, spinning slowly under a soft spotlight. Narrator, continuing. First, let's take a look at the basics. The 1970 Washington quarter is part of a long-running series of U.S. quarters, which, as most of us know, features George Washington on the obverse, our first president and a towering figure in American history. On the reverse, you'll see a majestic eagle, the symbol of our nation's strength and freedom. Cut to images of both the obverse and reverse sides of the 1970 Washington quarter, with a gentle zoom in on the details. Nothing particularly unusual, right? It's a quarter, just like the ones we've been using for decades. But here's where things get a little more interesting. While the 1970 quarter wasn't produced in exceptionally rare numbers, certain conditions and specific variations can drive its value up, sometimes significantly. Narrator pauses. Build suspense. Now, imagine you've got a 1970 Washington quarter in your hands, and it looks almost brand new, no wear, no scratches, just a perfectly crisp image of Washington. That's already a good start. But there's a catch. If your coin is in pristine condition, it could be worth a lot more than just a quarter. In fact, high-quality versions of the 1970 Washington quarter could fetch a price of $10 to $50 or more, depending on their grade and condition. Let's dig into how you can identify these coins that hold potential. Cut to a close-up of a coin being gently graded by hand using a magnifying tool. Narrator, explaining. Now, grading coins is one of the most important parts of coin collecting. The higher the grade, the higher the value. The 1970 quarter is no exception. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A coin that's graded MS65 or higher, which stands for mint state, is considered to be in excellent condition. These are the types of coins collectors are looking for, and those are the ones that could bring you top dollar. Cut to graphics of a grading scale, highlighting different grades, with emphasis on MS65 and higher. Now, here's the tricky part. Even within this group of well-preserved 1970 quarters, there are additional factors that can dramatically increase their value. Let's talk about varieties and errors. You see, even in the 1970s, minting errors and subtle variations existed. A small mistake at the mint could turn an ordinary coin into something quite extraordinary. Narrator, excited tone. For example, one of the most notable variations of the 1970 Washington quarter is the 1970s D reverse-proof quarter. If you've got one of these in your collection, congratulations, you could have a real treasure. A reverse-proof coin has a mirrored finish on the design, and a frosted, matte background. This unique finish was actually used in special mint sets, and it's a rare variant of the typical 1970s D quarter. Cut to a close-up shot of a 1970 D reverse-proof quarter, showcasing its shiny mirrored surface and frosted background. Narrator, continuing. So, how do you know if you've got one? If you have a 1970s D Washington quarter, you'll want to examine the surface carefully. A reverse-proof coin will have that distinct, high-contrast look, which you can identify by the glossy, reflective finish of the design. But even more than that, this variation is in limited supply and is highly sought after by collectors, so if you come across one, it's worth considering getting it appraised. Narrator pauses for effect. But that's not all. Mint errors can sometimes make coins like this extremely valuable. Now, I know you've probably heard the term a mint error before, but let me explain how this can apply to the 1970 Washington quarter. Common errors for this year include things like double strikes, where the coin was struck twice by the die, or misalignments where the designs are slightly off-center. These types of mistakes can make your 1970 Washington quarter more valuable than a perfectly minted one. Depending on the severity of the error, these coins can sometimes fetch. The value doesn't increase significantly unless the coin is in very high grade, uncirculated or MS-65 and above. In that case, it could be worth around $1 to $2 depending on the specific condition. 2. Uncirculated or high-grade coins, MS-63 and above. Quarters that are in mint state, especially those graded MS-65 or higher, can be worth more than face value. Prices for these range from $2 to $5, sometimes higher if in excellent condition and from a specific mint. 3. Proof coins, 1970s. Proof quarters, which were minted for collectors at the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S mint mark, can be much more valuable. A 1970s proof quarter in excellent condition is generally worth between $5 to $15, with the value increasing if it's in perfect or near-perfect condition, PR 69 or PR 70. 4. Rare errors or variations. If your 1970 quarter has any notable minting errors, such as a double die, off-center strike, or die cracks, it could be worth significantly more to collectors. In some cases, these errors can raise the value to $50 or more, depending on the rarity and severity of the error. 5. Silver content, not applicable for 1970 quarter. Unlike quarters minted before 1965, the 1970 Washington quarter does not contain silver. It's made of copper-nickel clad, so its value isn't affected by silver content. However, if the coin were pre-year 1965, it would have value based on the silver content, about 0.1808 ounces of silver. Estimated value summary. Circulated condition, average face value, 25 cents. Uncirculated condition, MS-63 and above $1 to $5. Proof coin, 1970 S5 to $15. Error variance, $50 or more, depending on rarity and type of error. For a more precise valuation, it's best to have the coin graded by a professional coin grading service, especially if you suspect it's in high grade or has a minting error.